Sorry about
it's a big loss
G.
for Clemson.
Welcome to Drinkin Bros, presented by GhostBed.com.
I mean, if
Yes, D'Anthony.
if we even have a season, it's a giant
we will.
step backwards.
There'll definitely be a season. Dan, COVID's over, didn't you know?
Apparently, you can spit in people's faces without recourse now.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. We kind of just ended COVID on our own as a nation, and everybody just decided to go outside and protest, and millions of people got together and said, fuck it.
Well, this is what white America wanted, to be able to go back outside again. So, I mean, he got it. So,
Yeah.
I don't know what you're complaining about.
No. Wild, though. Wild. Just got back in town. It was in Austin, Texas. Site of some of the riots that were going on, Dan.
Yeah, if you're wondering about the mindset of people who are rioting versus peacefully protesting, all you have to do is look at Austin, because there, a gang of dum-dums decided to burn a homeless man's stuff. There was, like, his mattress. They just threw it on a bonfire.
Yeah. Just torched it.
Yeah.
Just lit it up.
Yeah. I guess he was white, so it's fine. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what the fucking I don't know what the red line is, honestly. And this is the problem with any kind of conflict. It's mission creep. It's like Vietnam, right? We go there as advisors because we want to continue to press containment and make sure that communism doesn't spread beyond, the Pacific area for the most part in Russia. And it didn't work, obviously, because you can't just fucking tell people what to do at the point of a gun. They don't listen.
Right.
For some reason, it's human nature to say get fucked when people tell you what to do. I don't know what it is, but things kept escalating. We got more and more involved, more and more troops. Well, we can't get this done without more troops. We can't get this done without fucking setting some cop cars on fire. It's the same bullshit, man. And to be honest, I'm not that terribly upset with, at least in Minnesota, with like a police station getting fucking torched or whatever. That shit, I mean, I don't think that it's helpful, but I understand that.
Yeah.
I don't understand destroying personal property and attacking old ladies at bakeries.
Right.
Because of what they look like and shit like that. I mean, look, we've talked about it before, but the point of all this, if you want to win, is to gain patronage. And you did it. Like, this guy getting killed did it.
George Floyd, yeah.
It did it. I mean, it was like everybody was on the same side. But it gives you a deep distrust for the media and government when everybody's on the same side, and then all of a sudden these old divisions get brought back up. You know what I mean? Like, it's not enough to report the news, obviously. You have to put your slant on it. And I made that video the other day with the help of these two turds over here.
Yeah.
And it's just the way the media covered Memorial Day. It's no different, right? If it doesn't fit my narrative, then I'm not going to publish it. And if I do, if I feel like I'm compelled to publish it, I'm going to publish it on page 8 where nobody can fucking see it.
Sure.
It's where you publish pages 6 through 8. That's where you publish retractions and apologies. Right. You don't put them on the front page.
Right.
And here we are, man. It's fucking stupid.
Yeah, and it obviously keeps going on. I don't know when there is going to be an end to it.
I don't think there is going to be an end to it, to be honest, because America is a bunch of fucking pussies these days. Intellectually, you are all cowards. And I don't mean, everybody. I just mean, actually, I'll include myself. We're all cowards in this because we can't admit hard truths. We can't admit, like, people on the right, I'll start there because most of our audience probably leans conservative. Mm-hmm. People on the right refuse to admit that slavery robbed $1 trillion out of the black community. $1 trillion. That's about half of what their GDP net worth should be right now as a community based on U.S. population and U.S. GDP. $1 trillion. We took half of their money away. And I saw a guy just recently, excuse me, post about how, this problem's really in the urban community. They need to fucking step up and start working harder to get out of the oppression and out of the poverty. Like, dude, that is not fucking how economics works. That's the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my life. Go to fucking Venezuela if you believe that's possible. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, that's fucking stupid to even say that. So we have to admit that. We have to admit that the thing that largely is responsible for building the middle class in this country, the GI Bill, was available to all those black veterans that was served in World War II after the GI Bill got signed into law.
It was FDR who did that, right?
No, that would have been, what's his nuts?
Eisenhower?
Starts with a T.
Bang. Don't know.
The guy after fucking FDR before Eisenhower. What the fuck is his name? He dropped the bomb on fucking Japan. What's his name? I'm retarded today. But
yeah, that's fine.
I'm drinking vodka.
Look it up, Jorge. Look it up, Giorgio. Who was the president after FDR? Alec. Who was the president after FDR? Truman.
Yeah,
there we
Truman,
go.
yeah.
Harry Truman.
Anyways.
We just had a ton of people on YouTube go, come on, you dumb fucks.
Well, we're dumb. So, yeah, we have to be able to admit that. While the GI Bill is accessible to black people, colleges would not accept them. This was during Jim Crow. There was still segregation. So unless you lived near a historically black college or university, you didn't go to college. You didn't get the small business loans that all the white dudes did. This is not about you being fucking white. No one cares about you being white, all right? Like, no one's mad at you for being white. Maybe some people are, but they're fucking retards. The problem is that we can't admit these hard truths. We can't admit that it doesn't matter if we directly were the cause of any of this shit. There's a mess on the ground, and we have to clean it the fuck up. Period. Get your fucking ego out of the way. Stop getting defensive when somebody says, hey, you know what? White people historically have fucked us over, because that is a goddamn fact. I'm sorry. I don't know. That shouldn't make you feel bad about being a white person. My dad is a piece of shit. It doesn't make me feel bad about being a dude or a white dude or a dude with a beard or a fucking, who cares? What the fuck does what he did have to do with me?
Right.
I agree with you on that point. There's still a problem here that has to be fixed. We are between 60 and 70% of the population white people are, depending on which, like, technically some Hispanics are considered white as well. I don't know why. I don't know how that works.
Mixed.
But yeah.
Mixed races.
And we're 78% of Congress. Sorry. I mean, it's on us to fix this shit. Sorry. I mean, it's on them too to help, and do their part as well. And here's the problem that from my perspective is that people on the right, conservatives and white people, cannot admit this stuff. And the white people who are on the side of these folks are full of shit. The people that claim to be on their side, like posting platitudes and like, oh, fucking thoughts and prayers, or people crying and hugging black people in the street. You're not doing shit, motherfucker. Go make some change in your own community. It's your job to police your people, right? So when I see John Jones out there fucking smacking people around, snatching fucking stuff out of their hands, like, hey, get the fuck out of here because George didn't want this.
And I've seen a lot of it, by the way.
Yeah, there's a lot.
I've seen more and more videos pop up against, peaceful black protesters trying to disarm what appears to be white Antifa.
Yeah.
Fucking.
Yeah.
They've got a backpack. It's the same people. They get a black backpack. Yeah. They get a black hoodie on, and some form of mask, and they look like they're from some militia. And there's also been a bunch of videos of them being circulated that are paying protesters.
Well, people are showing up to protest sites. I've seen a bunch of black kids showing up to protest sites, and for some reason they show up and it's like there's a pallet of fucking bricks with no construction going on anywhere. There's a pallet of bricks there, and the black dudes are like, this is not us, just so you know. And I'm not saying that there aren't black people rioting. There certainly are. There's a bunch of fucking black assholes out there, just like there's a bunch of white assholes out there. And therein lies the problem. No one's willing to take responsibility, not only for the circumstance as it exists and their role in it. And when I say their role in, I mean their role in making it better, not their role in causing it. And they're not willing to admit that the things they believe are wrong. Like if you're a liberal Democrat, for example, your party has systematically used the poverty of black people over the years to institute a welfare system that keeps them on the government tit and keeps them voting for you. You are fucking garbage, people. I mean, you're worse. Republicans at least had the decency to ignore the problem and not make it worse. You know what I mean? I mean, you're Republicans, you're pieces of shit too, in my opinion, when it comes to this issue. But at least they had the common decency to fucking stay out of the way and at least pretend to be polite, even though you know they weren't really feeling polite about it. The Democratic Party has created this fucking culture that I don't even know how to explain it. It is what it is. Like the idea that you're asking people who have been brainwashed with handouts from the government for 100 years now to all of a sudden step out of that and rise above it without any assistance in which to do so. That is fucking you're out of your fucking mind if you think that's going to work.
What they think it does, though, is, hey, man, if us, the Democrats, and we're in power in government, and we're the ones cutting you guys checks, you need to go out and vote for us, because if you don't, those checks won't be there anymore.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how they've been running elections for years and years and years.
Well, there's a word for that. It's called holding someone ransom.
Mm-hmm.
Holding them for ransom. Right? That is... That's really evil in every sense of the word. And I don't understand why people can continue to do that. But there's so much hypocrisy. And again, it's a symptom of the culture we're in, where people refuse to take responsibility for what they're actually doing. Like when Dave Chappelle was talking about the Me Too movement, he said the only way that this gets better is if everybody is allowed to come out and say what they did, get it all out there and be like, hey, you know what, I was fucked up. People that like Louis C.K. did the right thing. He was in power, and what's his nuts from Rick and Morty as well. I can't remember his name.
Dan Harmon.
Harmon, yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, I didn't realize the authority and power I had over these people would affect their decisions on a day-to-day basis and make them choose differently. And I'm sure Louis C.K. was the same. Although he's a smart guy, he probably should have known. But either way, you have to allow people to. Here, we only have a couple of options. Either we kick these people out of our society completely, right? First offense, you're gone, out. Or people are allowed to fucking change and heal, and that's it, right? That's a normal way to do things. But we don't allow that because the left certainly doesn't want it. They don't want it. They don't want...
Well, they need the votes.
They don't want to lose 13% of their votes.
Right.
Essentially. Well, actually, I guess it would be 26% since it's half the population leans that way, and half of them are most black people vote Democratic.
Well, I mean, you take Joe Biden's comments, 2 weeks ago, which now seem like a year ago at this point, but you ain't black if you're voting for Trump. Who is Joe Biden to tell an entire race who they should vote for based on a person or a party?
I agree.
A politics party.
I agree with that. I also agree that who am I to tell somebody how to protest, right? That's been systematically oppressed for hundreds of years. Who am I to fucking tell someone that they're not being oppressed, which is way worse,
right?
Right? Like, I get it, man. I get it. Your life is hard too. You're a fucking white fucking suburban landowner somewhere, a farmer, or just a blue collar worker, and your life is fucking hard. You work hard every single day, and hearing that somebody has it worse than you seems offensive. Like, you don't want to hear that, but you know what? It's fucking true, man. Because your hard work and effort and all that stuff isn't because of the color of your skin. And for them, I don't give a fuck what you think about these issues. It is because of the color of their skin, period. Look at the fucking Department of Justice statistics on this. People who are fucking black people who are arrested for the same crime with the same background. First of all, they're arrested more than their white counterparts. Then when they are arrested, they're convicted more frequently and they receive longer sentences. The end. And this isn't a fucking white Republican issue. This is more of a white Democratic issue, to be frank. It started with Atwater back in the day, one of Nixon's guys. He gave that speech on what he called the Southern strategy, and it's how Nixon got elected, and it's how Ronald Reagan got elected. The purpose of that whole situation is to avoid saying the N-word, but say hardworking American to mean white. And Hillary Clinton is the best example of using that language in the modern political world, which is funny because she's also the one that pushed for the crime bill back in the day, calling all black teenagers super predators, right? So this is not a white Republican issue or any by any stretch of the imagination. But you are the party that can do something, because I believe I have a wide range of beliefs, both fiscal and social, with regard to foreign policy, all of that stuff. I'm all over the map because I just follow what I think is right. I don't give a fuck about parties or any of that stuff. But I think that entrepreneurship and the conservative mindset, kind of what Thomas Jefferson had in mind, less power in the central government, more freedom to do your business makes better business. I believe that. And I think that because you have that power as a conservative or Republican, whatever you want to call yourself, because you have the power of being right on that issue. You have the fucking responsibility to make sure everyone has the same opportunity to use that power that you do, period. Not everybody's going to be able to fucking do all the same stuff. Men are not created equally. That is not true. I know it's in the Constitution or the Declaration of Independence, but it's not true. We're all different, right? We all have different abilities. We're not created equally. But we should be seen equally under the law, and we're not. So we have to be able to admit that as people who are pro-law enforcement, pro-law and order, whatever you want to call it. You have to be able to admit that there's an imbalance in this system and that it is our duty to fix it. Just like people that follow Democrats have to admit that your party has used that fucking concept, that oppression, to keep these people oppressed and make them, not only keep them oppressed, but build a culture where they're going to stay oppressed into perpetuity, because there's no concept of upper mobility anymore there. It's just like, oh, we'll get that check and move on, right? Or when there's a problem, we need the government to come help, right? Not private industry. And it's just not, it's immoral. And black people have to be able to admit, and I know a lot of my white friends are afraid to say this, but I don't give a fuck. Black people have to admit that your movement, your mission has been co-opted by cunts that are trying to take advantage of you and trying to make more division. Look, there's no money in good news. Yeah. There's not. There's money in division. Yeah. You got to take a side to make money. You got to write a book about how fucking liberal fucking cities are burned into the ground because of liberal politics. And maybe you're right. I don't know. But is now the time to fucking say it? What point are you trying to fucking make right now? If we're asking these people to be blunt and honest with us and themselves about what's going on over there, we need to be blunt and honest with ourselves about what we're doing and what our role is in this whole situation. And we've so far refused to do it, honestly. And it's disappointing.
Yeah, and I don't know when it's going to end or when it's going to change. And right now, God, the waters are so muddied between what's real and what's fake. With everything I read, I question it, news-wise. Any site, it doesn't matter what it is, any paper, anything. I question whether or not it is true. With anything I see on television, I question or not what is real and what is fake. Even with the people I see, because I was in Austin this weekend when that happened. And I told this story earlier in Ross Patterson Revolution where I woke up on Saturday morning to get some coffee, and 12 Antifa fucking looking dudes, and women too. Bigger women though, like kind of butch, like where you're just like, Jesus Christ. Walked in, and they've got these Black Lives Matter signs that are painted perfectly. Too perfect, where you're just like, that looks like that was pre-made. And they were asking for directions on how to get to the protest. Well, if you lived in the city of Austin, would you need directions to the protest that's downtown?
Wouldn't think so, no.
No.
I mean, look, even Minnesota, who is, they're not conservative up there for the most part. There are people who are conservative, but they typically don't vote that way, right? They were saying, like, hey, most of these protesters are from the outside. And it's interesting to me that when people on the right say that these are all outside fucking protesters, they're probably Antifa. And then on the left, they say these are all outside protesters, they're probably white supremacists. Do you see the fucking problem there? Yeah. Like, we all go to our and this is what's happened. After George Floyd died, everybody was willing to stand in the corner on the same side and be like, you know what, fuck these motherfucking government bitches that have been trying, and the media that have been trying to divide us for years. Everybody was on the same page. And then slowly but surely, little bits of poison leak out. And everybody starts acting like a fucking asshole again. And they just go back to their corners and fight it out. It's going to be just like the gun debate. Nothing is going to happen here.
Yeah, because, you take, again, with Austin, I asked one of the guys, I said, where are you from? Kind of just making casual conversation, but I wanted to know the answer. One of them had said Oregon. And it's like, why are you, no one flies into Austin for the day and is just like, man, I'm here. I think I'll just go ahead and head down to the protest and make signs and wake up early, whatever. Most of the stores are closed. I don't even know where you get signs for shit like that. And I don't know the answer. My guess is Antifa, but I don't know. I have no idea. I would love the answer behind that, because a lot of these videos I'm seeing from most of these cities, it's not black people who are smashing these cars or windows in with hammers. It's white people. And some of them are being unmasked. The John Jones video was one of the greatest things ever.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'll go back to that because it's not a. We were this close to finding out that dozens and dozens of politicians, members of the media, celebrities, and businessmen were raping children. We're this close.
With the Epstein case.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And look at everything that's happened since then. We, for the first time in human history, quarantined a bunch of healthy people. And the news talks about it 24 hours a day. And then as soon as, look, black people died between 1 March and George Floyd.
Yeah.
A lot of black people died
Yeah.
in that time period. Not a fucking word was said. But once one popped up that they knew they could capitalize on, then fucking it went full ham.
Yeah.
Like, you notice the first few days of coverage about the George Floyd thing was, I wouldn't say positive, but the message was, like, there's the instant reaction where everybody's fucking on one side's pissed and everybody on the other side is scared. White people get scared when a black man gets killed by police. Not scared of rioting or anything like that. They get scared because they have to face their fucking black friends the next day. That's why. Because they're embarrassed.
Yeah.
They're embarrassed, honestly. And I've actually had these conversations with a number of fucking people over the last 2 days. And people are like, I wish that I could say what you're saying in public, but I'm afraid of what my black friends might say to me. That is a fucking problem.
Yeah.
Right? Because they're not your friends unless you can say real shit to them. That's not your friend. You know what I mean?
It's
And
true.
I'm not saying that you shouldn't have black friends. I'm saying that you should maybe get a little bit closer and maybe you might understand what the fuck's going on a little better instead of just spewing these fucking platitudes all the time. It's fucking bullshit. It is absolute horse shit. And it only took a little bit of venom to send us right back where we were. You should be so ashamed and embarrassed that it's so easy to manipulate the American public. Like, if you're not embarrassed by that is, I don't understand how you could not be, right? Like, imagine that feeling when you realize you've been tricked by somebody.
Yeah.
Like your partner's cheating on you or somebody in business fucked you over and something, man, I should have seen that coming. You should have seen this coming. It happens every fucking time, right? And it's not all on white people either. Like, I don't mean to send that message. It's not all on this side of the table. There's a responsibility for everybody to take care, and no one's taking it because it's a lot easier just to get mad and take your ball and go home than it is to actually sit down at the table with people and have real conversations about real shit. Like, hey, you know what? You're right. White people have been a bunch of cunts over the last couple of fucking 100 years or so. Maybe forever. I don't know. Like, people in power are cunts.
Starting with the Indians?
No. Well, white people have been scourging things for years now, but it's just because we've had the benefit of being wealthy. Right? Wealthy people in power, it doesn't matter if it's the Mongol horde or Alexander the Great. They're going to fuck shit up. Doesn't matter who it is. Understand that. And understand that it doesn't mean you are intrinsically bad because of the color of your skin. It's fine, dude.
Yeah.
It's fine to call people out and to call out the situation, even if it fucking includes you a little bit. You know what I mean? As a matter of fact, it's a little more than fine. It's called being a fucking leader. Like, when you see something that's fucked up, it's your job to pick it up. If you don't pick up garbage when you see it on the ground, I don't really have a whole lot to say to you because you don't really care. If you cared, you wouldn't be posting fucking dumb shit on Facebook. You know what I mean? You wouldn't be posting like, oh, thoughts and prayers. You'd be doing something.
Right.
You know what I mean? I just don't know where to go with this at this point. I don't know what fucking I don't understand. First of all, I'm glad Antifa has been designated as a terrorist organization. I wish, and this is another hard conversation, and I don't know why it is, but I wish that all these white supremacist groups would get the same designation from Trump.
Same, and I was surprised to see that they weren't at the same time because that would have sent a really powerful message. Of like, hey, man.
He had the opportunity to unite the country, and he chose, this is President Trump, chose to continue to divide the country because he's just like everybody else, right? And I include myself in that. Our first instinct is to be like, oh, that's not true about me and my people and my country and my city and my state and my race or whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah,
it is true, motherfucker. So who cares? Deal with it. Why do you need to go through this period of mourning and offense before you can actually fucking do something? Because you're an intellectual coward, that's why. Just shut the fuck up. It's not about you, right? If you're living fine, and I am, right? I mean, my life is pretty easy for the most part. I know a lot of you guys out there work way harder than I do, that's for sure. You can, it comes down to holding each other accountable at that point, right? Like, that's the whole point of society, is to progressed to the point where we are comfortable enough to start dealing with the soul, whatever you want to call the soul if you're not religious. I'm not, but I'll use that parlance for the sake of this conversation. We start dealing with how we feel about things, and that is important. It's not to say it's not important, but there's a priority, right? Let's get safe and under a roof, and then we can start talking about what we're feeling. You know what I mean? Well, we got safe and under a roof, and we stopped caring about what everybody else is feeling. And that's not American. That is not this country. It's not what the point of this country was. I understand that. This is a complicated place to live. Our founding fathers hated each other. Like, anybody that says this country wasn't born on the back of fucking like entitlement and resentment amongst each other is crazy. And Alexander Hamilton and Thomas Jefferson hated each other, and they are the Democratic and Republican parties, basically. They hated each other. It's been going on for 240 years now. It's not going to change unless we change it. You know what I mean? Unless we reject this fucking idea that there has to be some conflict. Mm-hmm. There has to be an us versus them, because it's not true. It doesn't have to be like that. Us versus them should be humanity versus the shit that fucks with humanity. Poverty, disease. Not us versus us. How does that make sense? But I'll tell you this. All of humanity uniting makes a nice little fucking Pepsi commercial, but it doesn't look good on your bottom line. If you're a media company, especially. If you're the New York Times, it's a lot easier to go out on Memorial Day and say that the military is intrinsically white supremacist than it is to say, hey, you know what? A lot of people fucking died, so I can write this down without getting my head chopped off. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And it's we are cowards in this country. We refuse to fucking face the things that deal with us. And it's just the same in comedy. It's this whole cancel culture. Everything is funny until it hits home for me. Right? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, my dad got murdered. He didn't, but let's say my dad got murdered and somebody makes a joke about my dad getting murdered. And then I'm like, oh, it's not funny anymore because a guy getting murdered because my dad got murdered. Yeah. Well, what's funny, actually? You're just a pussy. It doesn't matter if it deals with you directly. You apply the same standard across the goddamn board, period. Because we are a human being. And look, it's either that or admit that you don't think black people are worthy of that feeling from you. That's my challenge to the right. Either fucking say it, come out and say you don't fucking like black people. That's fine. I mean, it's not fine, but we'll at least know at that point. And you won't be couching it and trying to give them welfare to keep them on the government tit, or ignoring them and letting them fucking suffer. Pick one. That's the side I'm asking you to pick. Pick a side. Either you care about people or you fucking don't. And it's really that goddamn simple.
So how do you think any of this changes?
It doesn't.
And you think this will just keep going on forever? Mm-hmm. Because too many people are profiting off of either side.
Yeah, the media. The media are a bunch of fucking cunts. They're the worst human beings. Like, look, the media in this country and politicians in this country are the worst human beings that you could possibly imagine. They're profiteers. Like, you hate the fucking people that are going out and using this opportunity to riot and steal shit, and you should. They're fucking garbage people. These people are stealing, I don't know, hundreds of dollars worth of stuff and causing damage, maybe in the tens of thousands, maybe in the millions. Politicians and the media are fleecing you for billions, if not trillions of dollars every single year, and they're doing so at the expense of your livelihood, right? So why don't you have the same disdain for politicians and the media that you do for people who are rioting? That's my question. And even more so because the people that are rioting are doing so because they're in the same situation that you are. They've been bamboozled. They've been fooled into thinking that I'm the enemy, when we all have a common enemy. The government and the media are our enemy. And it was set up that way in this country. We're supposed to have an antagonistic view towards our government. Mm-hmm. That's the entire fucking foundation of our goddamn country. Like, we don't take shit off our government, period. Here's a letter. We don't fucking exist in your world anymore, bitch. We got our own country now. That's what fucking started this shit. Right. The tree of liberty must be refreshed from time to time with the blood of patriots and tyrants, period. And right now we need a little bit of a refresher.
So when do you think this personal protest is going to end. Is this going to ride all the way through the election?
I hope so.
Really, for 5 months?
Yeah. I hope that, because as much opportunity as the instability caused by protest has to reveal how shitty some people are, it also gives us the opportunity to reveal how incredible some people are. Like, whatever you feel about John Jones, he went out and did something, right? Like, I can't do what he did. I can't walk around and snatch paint cans out of black people's hands, for example. I would never even think of doing that.
During a time like this.
Yeah, there's no way.
Correct.
But he can do that. He found something in his wheelhouse that he's capable of doing and that it's right for him to do, and he did it, right? And I hopefully that's what we're doing here by using the audience to promote a message. I said this on Instagram the other day. We're all familiar with this concept of divide and conquer. If someone is trying to divide you, they are trying to conquer you, period. So who's doing the dividing, right? Because it's not us. Like, if we meet, if all the Drinkin Bros and like of all races met up, no one would give a fuck what anybody's race or ethnicity or religion or sexual orientation was.
Nobody ever has. I mean, we've done over 100 live shows. Yeah. Not once has any of that ever come up.
No one gives two fucks about that shit.
No.
But you know what? If some asshole, it's like your fucking drunk uncle showing up at Thanksgiving and starting a fight over politics when everybody else was having a good time. That's what the fucking media and government are these days. And if somebody shows up and starts doing that, it is our responsibility to all turn towards them and say, shut your fucking mouth. This is not who we are as people. That's easy for us to say, by the way, because even if we stay silent, our lives stay pretty good.
Yeah.
But if black people stay silent, their lives continue in a way that they don't feel is very good. And there's plenty of data to back that up, frankly. So I wonder, look, I don't have all the answers either. No one does.
No. And look, the reason why I, in particular, wanted to do this show today is I got to sit down with Dakota Meyer yesterday and chat about it. And everybody had said, hey, man, that was a fantastic show. I'd love to hear Dan's opinions on it, which is why we decided to go live today and do a show about it. For me personally, I think most people understand that politicians are shitbags and that the government does not have our best interest in mind. And if you think the government gives a fuck about you, they do not.
No, they don't care. They care about money.
On every level, national, local, county, you name it. Like,
yeah, they don't give.
They do not give a shit about you. So I think we're all on the same page on that. I believe so.
Well, we were for about 45 minutes. Like 3 days after Floyd was killed. I think on Thursday, he was killed on Monday. I think on Thursday we were all like, fuck these motherfuckers, man. Something like, this is the final one, dude.
Yeah.
Like and I thought it felt like that to me. It felt like fucking fine. I was relieved.
It did to me too.
In a weird way. I mean, it's tragic that guy died because look, now there's been some rumors, and maybe they're true, that he had fentanyl in his system and he died of a heart attack or whatever. Actually, the independent one says that he was asphyxiated. But even if that were true, I don't give a shit.
Me neither.
If he was doing,
Nope.
I mean, I'm not gonna do fentanyl because that shit's dangerous. But I'm fucking high as shit all the time, and you're drunk as shit all the time. So don't try to fucking judge somebody. Like every time that happens, they complain like, oh, they're showing his fucking high school graduation picture and not his mugshot. Like, shut the fuck up, dude. By the grace of whatever God you believe in, you're not in jail right now. Same as me, motherfucker, because we've all done fucked up shit in our life.
Yeah, and the other thing too is with that autopsy, I looked at that. I know I don't give a shit that he had a heart attack. If somebody's pressing on your neck like that, it's gonna cause you to panic and freak the fuck out, and you're gonna have a heart attack. If he OD'd, and roll out of the car with an overdose, and then
that'd be a whole separate situation.
But that was not the case. So look, you can chalk that up to whatever you want. It's the police officer killed that man.
Yeah,
but with the politicians, I think most people are in agreement. But the problem is, then the media gets involved, right? Everyone, there's 40 million Americans who are now unemployed and filed for unemployment from the COVID-19, the old Chinese virus that nobody suddenly has anymore and has magically disappeared. They don't have anything to do, and so they're at home. A lot of people have been home anyways because they've been furloughed or they're working from home. And you have news or television on or your computer or your phone on all day long,
whatever.
Social media, and all that is jammed inside your fucking brain all day long is right or left, good versus bad. You know, these people suck. These people are fucking angry. It's just anger and hatred all day long from both sides, and trying to prove a point that truthfully doesn't have anything to do with this guy's death, because now it's turned into political. What somebody's doing versus the other, and the media is just going to keep driving this home. I said something earlier on Ross Patterson Revolution that's I think the first thing you should do is arrest the other 3 officers.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck
I
is
don't
going
know.
on there. Honestly, man, we have a lot of fans who are cops, and I'm pretty sure that all of our fans
Every single one of them
support cops.
Yeah.
But no one supports shitty cops.
No.
And especially not good cops. I enjoyed what the woman I posted today, I don't know if you saw it or not, but this black woman saw her white male colleague completely unnecessarily try to intimidate and then push some protesters out of the way, right? And she lit his ass the fuck up. People need to see that. Sorry, I mean, sometimes it seems like it's a little ham-handed. Like it's almost like you're using stock photos representing all the races to have that argument out there in public in front of people, but it's important for people to see actual justice happening. And from the black perspective, realize that every single police station on this continent, probably, I guess, maybe not Mexico, but every police station or police organization in this country has an entire division devoted to making sure cops aren't fucked up. It's called internal affairs, right? Every single one of them has it. Whether they're doing their job or not is a matter altogether different, but that exists. That infrastructure exists. People realize that it's important. So it's not like that's being completely ignored, right? But you have to be as willing to wait on the facts as you are to make a judgment, right? Like you can't, the Michael Brown situation, for example, like they had some independent autopsy done that's claimed he didn't fucking reach for the guy's gun. There's fucking video of it.
Right.
What are you talking about?
There's
your autopsy
a
showed that?
hole in the car where he squeezed the fucking trigger.
Yeah, like get the fuck out of here, dude. If we can't be on, that's a problem with it. If both sides can't be honest about what's going on, if white people can't admit that yes, there is a problem, and yes, we are part of the solution to it, and it requires some activity on our part to do it, including swallowing your fucking pride, putting yourself to the side for a few minutes and not worrying about yourself and dealing with the situation. Like, I always try to imagine that any of these people going through any of this shit are one of my team members of some sort. Like there were in my last team I was in, the 82nd, it was me, another white dude, and then a black dude and a Mexican kid, right? That's America right there. We're the best country because we take the best from everywhere else. That's why we're the fucking best, and because our ideas are the best. But an idea is only real if it applies to everyone. The idea of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness is only meaningful and real if it applies to everyone. Otherwise, we're just Rome. We're a caste system. If that's what you want, then admit it. Just say it out loud if that's what you want. If you want to have more rights than poor people or black people or whomever it is, then say it out loud so everybody can fucking hear it. Otherwise, you need to get on board and start doing some shit. You need to if you're a police officer, you need to hold other police accountable for their bullshit. If you're a protester, you need to hold your community responsible for the bullshit they're doing. Period. No one is wrong and no one is right here. Everybody's fucked up. I understand the idea of protests and riots, and I don't think it is intrinsically wrong in either case. And I understand the idea of being offended when someone refers to your race as a monolith, like white people are bad or cops are bad or whatever the case is. I understand being offended by that and afraid of the circumstances, and I understand that when we've been in control for so long that ceding some of that control feels like we're losing something, but we're not. It's like if you're a scientist and you've been working on a problem all this time and all of a sudden someone that actually has the expertise you're looking for shows up, that should be a relief to you, not a threat. And if it's a threat, it's because of your fucking ego, because you're insecure and you're a coward. And I'm tired of this shit. We're not cowards in this country. We've taken hard stands on stuff very frequently, not only as a country, but as individuals. And I'm fucking sick of it. It's embarrassing to me.
Yeah. Yeah. And we're going to chat a little bit more about this after we get to the sponsors who pay for the show to be on the air. First and foremost, talking about ghostbed.com/Drinkin Bros. The Memorial Day sale is still going on, 30% off a bundle package. That's adjustable bases, that is pillows, that's beds, that is the covers, and the sheets. The sheets are amazing, by the way. They kind of fit on like Sean John boxers. I've never seen that a company do that before, but it's sweet. I use them all the goddamn time. And as always, they've got a 36-month no interest program where you're not going to get charged, man. There's no APR for 36 months on all of this. And all of these deals are all applicable right now with the 36-month pay-as-you-go program. If you're not getting a bundle package, you can still get 25% off everything in the store. And every mattress you order, you get 2 free pillows. We are happy to announce that GhostBed is going to be with us for a long time, and they're always looking out for people. Go to ghostbed.com/Drinkin Bros today. Next up, we got Thompson Cigars, D'Anthony.
Oh, yeah.
You're a big cigar guy.
This is one of my favorite companies. I love cigars.
Yeah.
Actually, for the same reason that I love, you got some dribble on the left side of your chin.
You're
there.
welcome.
Are you drooling?
I get a little excited about this. This is the first time we've had Thompson on.
Yeah, they're the best. Thompson cigars are like, they don't actually make cigars, although their parent company STG does, but Thompson is like, they own cigars.com, I think, and all sorts of other shit. Yeah, they own cigar.com, excuse me.
Yeah, they've got over 12,000 different options.
Yeah,
as far
so
as
they sent me a bunch of samples the other day, including some like Davidoff Churchills, some Padron 1926 anniversary series, Maduros that I'm a big fan of. They sent me some Liga Privada T52s, which is cigar. I think it was Cigar of the Year in like 2013 or something like that. They sent me like good stuff. But if you're looking for a cigar and you want whatever it is, you can find it on there for sure.
The best in the world.
Yeah.
These are the very best in the world.
They're the best. And they don't really do discounts. I told them, like, they have some ongoing deals going on, but because people buy so many cigars, they don't really do discounts that much. They don't have to. But I was like, you got to give our people, they're all military and first responder or supporters, so you're going to have to do something for them. So you can read the deal that they're getting.
Yeah,
it's
go to ThompsonCigar.com. Use the promo code Drinkin Bros when you check out. The website is Thompson, ThompsonCigar.com. That is ThompsonCigar.com. Use the promo code Drinkin Bros. That'll give you 15% off orders over $75, or 20% over orders over $99. And this is a Father's Day special that they're running. So go to ThompsonCigar.com now. This is the biggest and best brand there is in the market. They literally have every type of cigar you could ever possibly imagine there.
Yeah.
And they never, ever offer promo codes, ever. So go to ThompsonCigar.com. Promo code Drinkin Bros is what's going to save you 20% off. Big Father's Day gift. Everybody gets those.
It is, yeah. I mean, and look, it's good for season. Actually, I don't know if they're advertising directly to me through this goddamn site, but when I just open it up, and the first thing is a fucking Padron series, 1926.
It's almost like the company was made for you.
I know.
This was one where you just spoke it into existence. And I
did,
feel like
yeah.
It happened.
I did. Actually, one of my buddies, Ed, is one of the brand directors for their parent company. So we were trying to do stuff 2 years ago and couldn't get it done with Black Rifle just because they were busy, we were busy. You know how it goes.
Sure.
Like emails, I get like 250 emails a day. I'm like, well, I'm going to answer 20 of these.
We'll
see what happens with the rest. But we never could get anything done. Finally got this done with them. I'm super excited to work with them. All the brands, Arturo Fuente, Alec Bradley, CAO, Cohiba. I mean, they've got it all.
It's all the heavy hitters, dude.
Gurkha, fucking Maganudo, Monte Cristo, Oliva. They have everything that you want. If you're a cigar aficionado, or if you're just looking to get into it, first of all, if you're looking to get into it, go and join Drinkin Bros Cigar Aficionados. Yeah. There's a lot of dudes in there that have, and women too, actually, that have a lot of knowledge. Like, oh, I like these kinds of foods, and they'll tell you what kind of fucking cigar you should get. Not only to pair with it, but what your flavor palette is and shit like that. So, and it's also cigar smokers it's an interesting group of people.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah.
interesting as in if you like the people watch, some of them are kind of weird. So cruise on over there and check that out.
Yeah, go to thompsoncigar.com, promo code Drinkin Bros. We'll get you 20% off. Last but not least, this is one that I spoke into existence. God damn it. I've been screaming this for 2 years now, and it actually took Drinkin Broettes to fucking break on through the other
What are you
side.
talking about, Liquid IV?
Yes, Liquid IV.
Well, they just had the CEO on the show the other day.
They did. And I drink this every single morning.
Well, people have the idea because of the name of the product that it's for like hangover stuff, but no, it's not. It's like essentially you can drink. I would drink if I'm you. I drink one of them a day, and it essentially triples the effectiveness. It makes the water more soluble into your system.
Correct. And I don't like drinking just plain water all the time, especially because look, you have to drink, a fucking gallon a day worth of water or whatever they tell you to do.
It's only for dudes our size. It's almost a gallon a day. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I start the morning off with one of these size waters. What is this? A fucking 34 ounces?
Yeah.
I start the morning off with that. Ray Cash Care is always big into that as well.
And you don't want to carry around a fucking gallon jug of water.
No,
like
dude,
an
I don't. I don't want to do that. So I dump a Liquid IV in there every single morning. It's got vitamin C, B3, B5, B6, B12. If you're dehydrated, try Liquid IV. It's the fastest, most efficient way to stay hydrated. I fucking love these goddamn things, and they've been giving them out the pack because they're just little packets, and then you just drop it in the water.
It's super helpful, yeah.
Yeah,
like on the go, everybody's on the go. I know not everybody, but a lot of people are fucking stuck at home quarantine right now. But imagine what your life's going to be like when you're back at work every day. You can't be carrying. Look, if you're walking around a cubicled office with a gallon jug of water, I'm probably going to make fun of you.
Yeah,
to be honest.
You're that dude.
Yeah.
This is all it needs to go into. This size right here. You don't need to.
What is it
put
called? Cellular transfer technology, I think they call it. It basically, I'm not going to get into the science behind it, but the way the emulsifiers work in this powder make more water go into your system. It's like getting an IV. So the reason to get an IV is because your body won't retain enough water, like you don't have enough sodium in your system or whatever it is. That's why drinking electrolytes is important,
right? To
make sure your body actually absorbs the water. Otherwise, you're just drinking it and pissing it out.
Yeah.
This is what fucking does that. You can drink less water and get the same effect.
And it's cheap as shit, man, which is the best part. So we're not asking you to spend a ton. No. I've had a fucking subscription, everything, and finally they were a sponsor, and it is amazing. They've also they've donated 2.3 million servings in response to COVID-19 to first responders, food banks, veterans, and active military. Go to liquidiv.com today. Use the promo code Drinkin Bros at checkout. You get 25% off. At liquidiv.com, promo code Drinkin Bros, 25% off. Get better hydration today. Liquidiv.com, promo code Drinkin Bros, 25% off. Gigantic fan. I feel like I spoke them into existence as well. Finally, dude. I'm fucking amped about that.
Back to me being angry. I think the Democratic I really feel like the Democratic Party should be dissolved entirely. Because what exactly have they done? Right?
It's weird during all of this crisis, right? I haven't seen or heard from any of them.
Well, here's what we know they've done. We know that they've created a system that keeps poor people in general, but particularly black poor people, not only subsistent or require subsistence from the government to keep them on the teat to make sure they can control them. They've also put them in jail.
Yeah.
It wasn't Newt Gingrich banging the fucking drum in 1994 for the crime bill. It was Hillary goddamn Clinton.
Yeah,
motherfucker. If you guys don't remember,
then Kamala Harris got exposed during.
Oh yeah.
During
I know a lot of
brief run.
I know a lot of what I have said today and have said recently conflicts with what people believe as conservatives. But believe me, you're not the only people with some explaining to do here. The Democratic Party is probably the worst, and I think Martin Luther King said it back in the day. It's not the fucking Klan member that we're worried about. It's the fucking white liberal.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I mean? That wants to fucking take advantage of us and use our plight to make money or
because that's the real power.
It is, yeah. I honestly believe that the Democratic Party should just be dissolved. They have no relevance in modern America. And neither does progressivism, to be honest. Like, I want people to be able to feel free to express themselves however they want, because it's the same old saying that I don't necessarily agree with you, but I'll fight to the death to protect your right to do that stuff, right? You either believe that or you don't. Don't fucking say those words, and don't lean on your fucking military or police service unless you actually fucking believe it and are going to put some action behind those words. Unless you're going to stand up for people that are being oppressed. You don't deserve to say that, in my opinion. I think it's embarrassing for people to say that shit.
I also think, too, like, look, I said this with Dakota, too, yesterday. 99.9% of police officers are great people. They're extremely underpaid. They're doing a thankless job every single day. And every single car they walk up to or house for, you know, whatever call it is, domestic or otherwise, they're putting their lives on the line because you don't know who the fuck or what the fuck is going to happen behind that door.
Yeah, but here's the other side of that coin. You are 100% right, and there can be two facts that don't necessarily agree with each other, and it's our responsibility as intelligent, conscious human beings to figure out how to make those two facts make sense together, right? Like a square peg is not going to go in a round hole, right? We know that, so we have to go fucking make a round peg. It's fucking that goddamn simple, right? There's a problem, and you create a solution for it. It doesn't have to be there's a problem and the solution. Fucking, that doesn't really jive with what I believe. Like, that's not how it works, man. I'm sorry. It's just not how it works.
I have a weird theory for you that I wanted to run by you. Is me personally, I'm starting to feel like America is too big.
Hang on a sec. Can you turn my volume up? Everyone is... I'm all the way up? We need better microphones.
I have a theory that America's too big for 338 million people.
Somewhere between 318 and 340. Yeah,
it is really difficult to get 330 million people on the same page for one thing, whatever that is. Right?
Yeah, I mean, look, we can certainly continue to exist though and disagree on a lot of stuff. Like we can we can disagree on how to get there, but we can't disagree on what there is. And right now we disagree on what there is because half the population, more than half, 60% of the population believes that whatever there is myself personally being comfortable and living a good life and being protected. Fuck everybody else. Right? And there's a very small minority of people that are at least outspoken enough to say that I'm not okay with somebody not having the same rights as me. I'm not okay with that, and you shouldn't be okay with it either. None of you. If you have something that's amazing, and you don't want to share it with other people, then you're a fucking asshole. To be honest, that's not what this country is. This country is not that. Read some of the writings, particularly of the founding fathers, with regard to their beliefs on slavery. It was a very complicated situation, and they all seemed to know that it was evil and wrong, but they knew that they at the time couldn't do anything about it. Like I don't know. Man, I don't understand what they were thinking at the time. Like Thomas Jefferson owned one of the largest slave plantations, and he was fucking his slaves. Yeah. Right. And he had openly admitted that slavery, the concept of slavery, is evil and abhorrent to God. Right. But he continued doing it. That's very bizarre to me. I don't understand that.
But some people don't want to change their way of life out of fear, though.
Maybe.
And I think that will continue to happen as well. I really hope you're incorrect on this and this doesn't go the full 5 months toward the election. Because let's say it does and Trump gets reelected. Because I don't know who's coming out to vote for Biden at all. And you would think, and during a time like this.
No, they don't.
Antifa he's not the
vote.
Guy.
The people causing the drama don't vote. And look, honestly, I don't know what it's like to be a black American. I don't know what it's like to have been raised to fear police. I don't know what it's like to be raised to intrinsically trust one political party over another. You know what I mean? I don't know what that feels like. And a lot of stuff happens when you're young that influences you for your entire life, and it's fucked up. You know what I mean? Like, it fucks your brain up, and it takes a long time to get past that shit. That's why therapists exist, you know, to fucking deal with childhood trauma. I don't know what it's like, but I do know that it's glaringly obvious that their community has been completely taken advantage of by white fucking hipster liberal pieces of shit.
Well, the problem is, too, you're not taught that as a kid. And, you know, you have one or two chapters growing up in history that talk about slavery. and oppression and things like that. But it's not until you're older, like if you're a white kid living in the suburbs, right, which is what I am. It's not until you get older and actually get out of high school, essentially, that you're out into the real world for the first time, and you're seeing that there is actual problems going on.
Yeah.
So you're shocked by it, right? And you feel bad, and you're like, oh
but
my
it's
God,
also,
I can't believe this is happening.
It's shocking at first, and then it becomes embarrassing when you find out.
Yes.
When you juxtapose it with your life.
Yeah.
Like, look, my life was pretty rough growing up. I didn't have. We weren't abjectly poor, but we were pretty poor. And there was a lot of abuse involved there. My life was not great. But I was able to, with just a little bit of hard work and effort, get myself the fuck out of there, right? But if you're a single mother with 2 kids in a poor black neighborhood, you're not going anywhere, motherfucker. You're done. Maybe your kids have a chance, but you personally, you're fucking done. Unless you come up with some novel idea or win the lottery, it's over for you. Your life is going to be about your children. And that's it. Like, you will never be able to relax at any point unless you just get lucky somehow.
Didn't you grow up in an all black neighborhood?
For a couple of years, yeah.
And what was that like for you?
It was, I don't know. I mean, at the time I was a child, so I didn't really understand what was happening. But I understood that it was different for me than it was for them. Like, it was obvious, even with the teachers. Like, I went to a school that had, in Berea, South Carolina, most of my classmates were black kids. And my teacher was white, and she treated me differently than she treated them. And I noticed that not then, obviously, because when you're in it, it's hard. And that's the problem right now, because people are in it. People are going to work for 8 to 10 hours a day, coming home tired, and realizing that they're barely making enough to get by. And then somebody else on television is saying, hey, my life is way worse than yours. That is offensive. But both of you are right. Like Dave Chappelle said it best. Time traveling, right? Like, if you were able to travel through time, you're a white dude, you can pretty much go anywhere you want. But if you're I think one of the jokes he told, and it wasn't really a joke so much as a political statement, but he said, if me and a white dude both traveled back, it'd be like, oh shit, run, that's George Washington if he's a black guy, right?
Right.
But if it's a white dude, it's like, oh shit, that's fucking George Washington. And both of you are right. You know what I mean? So you don't have to fucking. This is the problem with the fucking platitude-driven white liberal in this country. You don't have to prostrate yourself in front of these people to make a difference. Like, you can listen to people and be like, you know what, you're fucking right. Let's do something. Instead of, oh, I'm sorry. What's apologizing ever done for anybody? Stuff your sorries in a sock, motherfucker, because I don't want to hear that. When I'm pissed off, I don't want to hear that you're sorry. I want to hear the solution to the fucking problem, right? Be part of the solution or get the fuck out of the way. Keep your mouth shut. You know what I mean? I mean, I don't know how much more you could really talk about this stuff. Like, because I don't think anybody's listening.
No, and I'm not either. Today we can share our experiences and our thoughts on it, and I don't know what the solution is. You take me. My brush of it as a kid was I lived in my dad got transferred, and we lived in Clearwater, Florida for a year. And Florida at the time was a busing state. It was in seventh grade, and they used to bus kids from the ghetto into white suburb schools to have a better education and to get along and learn how to live with one another and the whole kumbaya bullshit, right? The problem was it was an hour and 10 minutes away. Those kids had to get up at fucking 5 a.m. to get on a bus, to ride that for an hour and 10 minutes, hour and 15 minutes, to go to an all-white school. They were pissed off by the time they got there, completely taken out of their lives, their old schools and their way of lives, and then thrown into this world. And then afterwards, they had to get on the bus again for another hour and 15 minutes to go back. As the days go on, you become angrier and angrier. You don't want to be there.
You get a little taste of whiteness. They think they're doing you a favor. With that.
Yeah.
How condescending is that? Honestly,
I know.
That's why Jim Crow was struck down in the first place, because the courts finally realized that separate with equal is never equal.
Right.
You know what I mean? There's a guy in the comments right now, Sac Francisco 49, which is actually a really good name.
Yeah.
Saying, then don't have two kids when you don't have money, that is their fault. You know, when Republicans wage a goddamn war on women's rights with regard to their reproductive cycle, like birth control and abortion and shit like that, I don't give a fuck what you believe. The courts have decided this shit, right? You can fucking fight it politically, but when you take away people's ability to control that situation, I'm sorry, motherfucker, that's your fault. Like, you can't fucking walk up to some crippled person's cane, kick it out from under him, and be like, oh, why don't you learn how to walk, motherfucker?
Right.
That is stupid, and it's stupid of you to fucking say that. San Francisco 49, fuck you.
The other part about that is, dude, I know plenty of white trash people who shouldn't have fucking kids, too.
Oh, yeah, dude. Like, it's not just a white or black problem.
No. There's shitty people who are black. There's shitty people who are white.
Yeah.
There's shitty people who are Asian. You know, what the fuck?
I kind of feel like.
By the way, the busing thing, they ended it a few years later.
Yeah,
it was a nightmare. There was fights every single day. It was a fucking awful social experiment, and Florida ended up nuking it a few years later. We were in fights every single goddamn day, dude.
Yeah, I mean, look, that's over
nothing. But,
I think
that's race and anger.
I think that's fine though, because every single conflict is a teachable moment. Like right now, me and this San Francisco guy are on opposite sides of an issue right now, but I don't dislike the guy or anything. Actually, I think that name is pretty dope because Bosa's lighting it up in San Francisco, and he's probably going to have 13 to 15 sacks this year, my guess, right? Because they improved their defense a little bit, which means he's going to be open to do even more. You can't double team everybody on that thing.
No, their defense is going to be lights out.
They'll
go first and finish.
Yeah,
football.
at any rate, this other person, F4C3, I can't read your name because I don't know what that means. He says he doesn't know I'm reading this, but what actions am I thinking of that could feasibly be done on a person-to-person basis to make change that isn't violent? The first thing we have to do is all admit what the fuck is going on, because if we don't agree on reality, then nothing ever will happen regardless of effort. It doesn't matter how much you do. It doesn't matter how hard every single black person works, because only a few of them are going to make their way out of that shit under the current circumstances. And it doesn't matter how much I wish for them to work or post thoughts and prayers on fucking Facebook, because that's not going to do anything either. We have to have very hard conversations. Oh, it's facetious. I got it. We have to have very hard conversations and admit when our side is fucked up. Like, you don't have to take, it's not about blame, dude. I don't understand why people get so offended by this shit. It's not about blame. It's not about you accepting responsibility for slavery. No one is asking you to do that.
No.
But that shit existed, and because of it, and because of Jim Crow laws, and because of the failure of Reconstruction, and because of the absence of availability for the middle class building GI Bill for these people, we fucked them over, period. Doesn't matter if you were directly involved or not. It is an issue that exists, right? Like, if your neighbor's house is on fire, are you going to stand there and watch it burn and not help put it out because you didn't start the fire? Like, what kind of attitude is that to have? That is not that is not the way a good person thinks. A good person thinks, this person's in trouble. I don't give a fuck if they're like me or think like me, or even I like them personally. I'm going to help them because they're in trouble. That's what a good person thinks. And that's what makes me truly embarrassed about the way we're behaving ourselves in America, because I don't feel like this is the behavior of good people. And I think it's intrinsic to people to feel tribalistic. Most murders are committed within the same race. Most marriages within the same race. People stick to their kind, for lack of a better phrase. My kind is American, motherfucker. All right, that's it. Like, if you don't tell me, don't say stuff like I don't see race. You should see it. Celebrate diversity, man. Like, why would you not see it? That's stupid. Yeah. But let's not pretend like it's not a thing. And if you're this patriotic, if you believe in the idea of America so goddamn much, then you believe in America for everybody. Otherwise, you don't believe in America. You believe in a fucking oligarchy for you and your people. You want to be a white person in the Roman Senate and not a slave. That's what you want. Admit it, so I can never talk to you again.
Well, we'll see how this week goes. This could be a make or break one for us. We'll see. We'll see. Now's the point in the show. We get to the Drinkin Bro of the week. This one was submitted by Edmund Poirier. Ooh, that's nice. From Arkansas. Member of Drinkin Bros for 10 months. He's nominating Bart Poirier, and I hope I'm pronouncing that right. It's Poirier, and
Yeah, that's like
I've never
the fighter.
I've never actually seen it. Yeah,
Justin.
Dustin. Yeah.
Justin or Dustin?
I think it's
Dustin.
Dustin Poirier. Yeah, Dustin Poirier. A hero to myself and a few others. My dad raised me to be the man I am today. After helping my mom with her losing fight with cancer, which she lost in November, on May 24th, 2020, he lost his own fight with cancer. While in the Air Force stationed at Elmendorf in Anchorage, Alaska. I don't believe I've heard of them. He risked his life to save many others in a house fire. Medals earned on that day and others will go next to his urn on my mantle next to a bottle of Crown Royal, his beverage of choice. While he had smaller feet, they were way too big to fill. Way too big of shoes to fill. As I'm going to fill in the gaps for you there.
That part was in brackets.
Yeah, it was. It was.
If you like to write.
I like that a lot. Cheers, man.
Yeah.
Cheers to Bart and cheers to Edmund. Thank you for the submission.
Wait, facetious. When you say I don't see how a hard conversation can affect change, that's the beginning, my man. Like, we can't fix a problem that we can't identify. Like, if imagine a group of scientists are sitting around and they all disagree on what the actual issue is, nothing will ever get done. The first step is to identify the problem or the issue or the circumstance, whatever it is. We have to agree on fucking reality first. We have to agree that there is an issue to be handled. From our side, we have to agree that we are responsible for helping handle that problem. And from the black side, they have to understand that they're responsible for policing that community as well. When people are out there acting like fucking assholes, it's incumbent upon them to talk to police. Make sure these people that are fucking co-opting their message for a negative purpose are handled, right? Help the police. I've seen so many videos over the last couple of days of like 25-year-old black kids walking up to police and handing them fucking water bottles and standing around them, protecting them from protesters. Then I've seen white people with guns standing between police and black people. I've seen both sides of that stuff. People want to do the right thing. They just need the information to be able to do it. And that's why I've been on such a kick lately to say, fuck the goddamn media. Like, they have failed us. In every possible way that you can fail someone, they have failed us.
I agree. And the conversation will continue to go on. We appreciate you joining us today. Subscribe to Drinkin Bros podcast on Facebook. All of the shows in our media company are in there. Drinkin Broettes, Drinkin Bros Sports, which is coming up next, and Ross Patterson Revolution, as well as Savage Saturdays. And please go into iTunes and give us a 5-star and a quick review. It helps us move up the charts and all that other stuff. D'Anthony, appreciate you sharing your thoughts today. For Dan Hollaway, I am Ross Patterson. This is the Drinkin Bros. Good night.